Hey, welcome to part 3. This one I think is the biggest savings. And once again, this is something that Kevin and I have used and it has worked out beautifully. It is called the Service Members Civil Relief Act. Again, the Service Members Civil Relief Act. It protects you from so many things, but the two most important or things that I feel are the most important is basically being sued while in the military. They cannot sue you without going through the proper channels. For example, if I wanted to sue my next door neighbor, I could just go down to the courthouse, fill out the paperwork, serve them the papers, and we would either go to mediation or we would just go before the judge, and it all happens pretty quickly, 30 to 45 days, depending on the schedule of your courthouse. However, when trying to sue somebody in the military, this only applies to the active duty member, unless, of course, it's joint, like most are, like a husband and wife. They have to go through the proper channels. They cannot just go down to the courthouse, file against you, and sue you. The first thing that they have to do, of course, is contact you, contact your command, give you a chance to reply, and that alone takes 90 days. Of course, within those 90 days, you could pay it off, settle it, whatever you need to do, but if it does end up going to court, you have ample time to prepare yourself and sort things out. They cannot just sue you, so that's awesome. The second thing is an interest rate reduction. This applies to debts that you have incurred prior to joining. Again, this only applies to the service member unless, of course, it is joint. Basically, let's say prior to joining, you took on a car loan and it had a 50% interest rate, which, by the way, if you do have a 50% interest rate, please know that that is illegal. But moving on, if it has a ridiculous interest rate, once you join the military, that company legally has to reduce that interest rate to 6%. Of course, they're not going to want to do that. Of course, they're going to give you a hard time and they're going to give you the runaround, but it is the law. It is an act passed by Congress. It is the law. When Kevin and I had to do it for my student loan, I initially did it because I was the service member first. They gave me such a hard time. They wanted proof that I was in the military, which is understandable. So I sent them that proof. Then they had mysteriously never heard of this act. Even if you haven't heard of it, the internet is a great resource. They could have simply typed it into Google. But then they wanted me to basically print it out and send it to them. I did that. Then they wanted me to get some paperwork and have it filled out and send it to them. So I did that, and then they said they never received it. So I resent it again. They never received it. Mind you, time is going on. Interest is still accruing. It was a 27% interest rate. Yes. And of course, they did not want to lower it to 6%. Once again, I sent it, but this time I sent it with signature and delivery confirmation. I called again, let them know about it. They said they didn't have it. I was able to give them the name, the date, and the time it was delivered. Then all of a sudden they found it. They reduced my interest rate and it counted as a refinance and saved me over $30,000. Thankfully, I was able to pay off the loan and get them off my back. So if they were a great help to me, I'm sure they would be a great help to you. So look them up, the Service Members Civil Relief Act, and be prepared to probably get the runaround, but in the end, anything higher than 6% would be helpful, because you can get it reduced to the 6% and ultimately save you time, money, and improve your credit score, because it would technically count as a refinance. Again, the Service Members Civil Relief Act, and I'll have all of this in my actual blog, so you can just click the link. Thanks for listening, and tell a friend.